So, very good to see everyone again. So please now, everyone here, everyone online, compose yourselves, sit up nicely, and be still. Absolutely still. And you close your eyes, and as you close your eyes, you leave behind all that you've been doing, thinking about, worrying about, everything. You put it all down, and you leave it. And you try now, at least during this evening while we're together, to keep your attention here and now. And cameras on, please. And we commence by bringing to mind the Buddha, our great teacher and inspiration. Recollecting his perfect mind, that mind that was not only absolutely clear of all forms of craving and aversion and defilements generally, but far distant, far away from any of them and all of them. His mind, too, was a mind of infinite compassion. A really incredible and wonderful being, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you happen to think of the Buddha or contemplate the Buddha or even see an image or picture of the Buddha, be inspired to do what you can to cleanse your mind too of all greed, hatred, and delusion, and free yourselves utterly from all suffering. And remember to approach this with a mind of loving kindness and compassion. Be kind and caring of yourself and others. And appreciate the good in yourself and the good in others, the good things that are done, the merit that is made, and rejoice in it, and do it again and again. and at the same time be accepting of yourself and others, and of things generally as they are. Now, next we must take a moment or two to remind ourselves of our human condition. That we're all getting older. And at any time we may become unwell. Even perhaps we might have the misfortune to be very ill indeed. And then, of course, we're going to die. Whatever we do, death lies in wait for all of us. Aging, sickness, and death. Contemplating these should be a wake-up call to us. And add a little urgency to our practice, because time is passing, we're getting older, and time is passing and running out for all of us. So, sit up well now. Quite deliberately gather and concentrate your mind. And pay attention to just what you are doing now. To just sitting and breathing. And anything else, thinking or dreaming or wondering. But especially concentrate on sitting and breathing. And pay close attention to how you know you are breathing, where you feel the breath. And wherever that is clear to you, now keep your attention just there. And from now on, just be mindful and aware and watch your breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Remember that if your mind wanders or your concentration is interrupted in any way, you have to deal with it. If you're dreaming or you're thinking, pay attention. Ask yourself, what am I doing? Answer yourself, dreaming, thinking, or just say, knowing, knowing. So long as you pay attention. And then let it go. And bring your mind back to the breathing. And if you have to do that often, never mind, do it. It's part of this practice. It's part of training your mind. It's part of getting to know yourself. So you're all sitting very well, very still and quiet, and try to keep that up now for a little longer, even while I'm talking. And while I'm talking, all you have to do actually is to listen. But prepare yourselves and determine to do just that, to just listen and to remain quite still. And as you prepare yourself, remind yourself that listening is just listening, and it doesn't mean anything else. So don't do anything else, but sit well and listen. Now, while I mentioned there preparation, preparing yourselves well to do, I should think, almost anything is a benefit, is a help. And it's the case too with your meditation. To give yourself time to prepare. I don't mean any kind of sort of self-indulgent way, but simply to make sure that where you're sitting is going to be ready and clean, and you have what you need, your cushion if you're sitting on a cushion, and you know what you're going to do. And that, I think, is important, because it's very easy to just say, oh, I'll meditate, and plonk yourself down, and before you know what you're doing, you're dreaming. So do remind yourselves of what your exercise is, and that to meditate is to do some work, actually. And then, of course, you have your method or exercise to follow. And certainly what I've been telling you here is to watch your breath. And then, when that is interrupted by anything, any thought or feeling, sound or whatever, to pay attention. Sometimes referred to as bare attention. Because what is meant is just attending, just looking. Not thinking about it or analysing it or bringing some kind of theory to bear on it. No. Once you know that your mind has wandered, look at what's happening. What are you doing? And then let it go. You can, if you like, just note what it is, thinking or feeling. Or just, if it helps, simply say, knowing. And you let it go. And you find the breath again. Now, there are other ways, of course, of dealing with these interruptions. If they're very slight, you may just be able to bring your mind back and intensify your concentration on the breath, and that's it. But to pay attention, to watch, to look at these interruptions can be a real help in understanding yourself. Because whatever it is that's interrupted you, you will discover when you simply watch it. It's changing. And you have an experience, an experiential understanding then of change. So anyway, this is something to remind yourself of when you prepare. And if you prepare well, then you are likely to meditate well, sit well, and benefit. So see the preparation as really a part of your practice. You don't have to spend long on it, but just take that time to make sure you know what you're doing and that you have determined a time. So you don't just sit and then, oh, I feel, and you get up, but you sit and you concentrate and you observe when your mind wanders, and you do this for a set period. So if the thought appears, oh, I've had enough of this, you pay attention to it and you don't follow it. You see, Buddhist practice is about waking up and growing up even, maturing, developing our understanding, our experience of our life, of just what we are and what we do. And we concentrate our minds in order to make our minds capable. And as your mind becomes sharper, then this practice of just attending to whatever it is that's happening to you and what you're doing and so forth becomes kind of normal and enables you to see things as they are. Helps you to cut through the delusion that obscures the truth from you. So prepare well, sit well, and don't expect anything. And then don't judge your practice other than to make sure you try. If you have expectations, then of course it's unlikely they will be really fulfilled. And so, again, your practice may become distorted. You want to be able to be sharp and aware and able to see whatever appears, whatever happens. Now, of course, an important part of your preparation is going to be creating that safe space, that workspace, which observing the precepts does for you. When you're practicing the precepts, you're doing no harm. And so there's nothing to be worried about or remorseful of. Nothing to fear. And so you can settle your mind. But of course there's a bit more that you can do as well to help yourself. And really what you should do to develop yourself in your daily life, to widen your practice. And one of those things that you can do and you should do is to pay attention to your duties. Now, many of you know that there was an occasion when the Buddha happened to see a young man one morning prostrating himself in different directions. And when the Buddha asked him what he was doing, the young man said, well, he didn't really know, but he'd been told to do this by his father. And so the Buddha gave him a reason for doing this. And he suggested that each of the directions, each of the cardinal points, should represent a relationship. Like, for example, parents and children, husband and wife, employer and employees, and so on. And then he said that in each case, the person should be doing their duty by the other person. In other words, for example, the parent caring for the child, and the child obeying the parent, respecting the parent, the employer looking after his employees, the employees doing what they were supposed to do, what they were paid to do. Everyone doing their duty. Now we live in an age when people go on about rights all the time. Be careful. Yes, I'm pleased we have the right to practice our religion, and we have the right to life and so forth, but just contemplate that. Contemplate. Think about rights. Do we really have a right to anything? And isn't it better anyway to pay attention to our duties? Rights can become very selfish. Duties take you away from yourself. They help you to pay attention to what you're doing, not just for yourself, but for other people, for your community. In monastic life, we have duties. We have duties to each other. We have a duty to the place. We have a duty to care for our requisites, the things that we need. And of course, it's all given, donated. And we have a responsibility to the donors. We live in debt to all of you who support us. So think about this and pay attention to your duty. What is your duty? Never mind what is your right. And that too helps your development, your cultivation. It is also a part of your preparation for the important practice of developing your mind. It helps you to let go of me and mine and self and ego, greed and attachment, anger and aversion. So, that's enough from me for tonight. We'll sit for just a little while longer, just a moment or two. And please, in these closing moments, bring to mind loving kindness and compassion. you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. Very nice to see you all. I hope you have a good week and we'll meet again soon.